welcome to the Quarterback's Room. Welcome to our 20th episode of the Quarterback's Room. It's very special for us. It's kind of a milestone, so we really appreciate your support. If you haven't yet, go on there on YouTube and on Twitter and on the podcast and give us those 5-star reviews, give us those thumbs up, those likes. We've been putting out a lot of short videos and a lot of content that's getting out there. We plan on doing a lot more. We did a lot of shorts from Universal Studios this last week, which was kind of cool. We got to go see Epic Universe, and thank you, Universal Studios, for that opportunity. And you know what? It's been a great experience, but we wouldn't be here without Florida Football Prep, who is our main sponsor. So if you need team gear, if you need fully prepared footballs, if you need some of the best training around, go to Florida Football Prep. That's www.floridafootballprep.com. That's www.floridafootballprep. They have customized team gear. If you have a new team and you need fan gear, or your athletes need just shirts and they want stuff to wear, go to Florida Football Prep. They'll customize everything for you, and they'll get it on the market, and you can order it. It arrives within like 2 weeks. You can't go wrong. So anyway, it's been a minute because things have been really, really busy. Miles has been heavily involved in training. He finished his flag in his 7th season, and now he's getting ready for tackle. And so what all have you been doing, Miles?
A bunch of training camps.
What kind of camps you been going to?
The Winter Park camp. We did the FBU camp.
Yeah.
And tomorrow is NFA.
So with the Winter Park camp, how'd that go? That was a full week, and that goes into pads and full tackle. So how'd that feel being back in pads for the first time in about 7-8 months?
Good. I just had to get used back to getting hit and stuff.
So yeah, I remember watching you in one of the drills, which was an interesting drill where it was just a tackle form drill, but I think you were having flashbacks to a game you played in last year when the offensive line didn't hold up so well.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun. And then you finished the camp, and you guys did a scrimmage. So how'd that scrimmage go?
2 touchdowns, 1 rushing. Well, 2 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing.
I thought you had 3 passing touchdowns.
Oh, right, yeah.
So 3 scores, 1 rushing score. You look really good. There's video. I have video out there of his throws, and I'm going to do a review later. We filmed it with a system called Xbot Go. So I used that, and I also used handhelds. But it's an interesting thing, and I'll do a review on that for y'all later. It was pretty cool. But so you're back in the saddle.
Mm-hmm.
You're training again.
Yeah.
And what do you think your focus is right now? Are you working more form? Are you working just on conditioning, or are you doing kind of a combination of both?
Both.
So what do you have next week? You have NFA this weekend,
mm-hmm.
and next week you have Oviedo High School, correct? Yeah. And that's a long camp.
Yeah. That's
5 days a week, and that's 8 hours a day. That's a pretty long camp.
Yeah.
You looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Good conditioning?
Yeah.
So it should be fun. And then we've got one interesting thing with Pop Warner football is, because he's playing Pop Warner right now, because at his age there's no other option with the schools, but they're actually starting 2 weeks earlier this year. Last year they started the 1st of August when they could start formal practices. This year it's the middle of July, which gives them 2 more weeks to actually prepare these guys and get them into pads. And you've got to have something like 10 practices or 10 hours of training before you can even get into pads. So it helps.
I think it's 10 hours.
Yeah, it helps the kids get in there earlier, and you can actually learn more. And I actually am going to be coaching this year, and hopefully we can ramp up their offense, because their offense, I'm going to be 100% honest, Winter Park's offense was a little rough last year. They didn't throw very much, and all they did is try to run the ball up the middle a lot. So we're going to try to open that up a little bit this year, and hopefully utilize Miles all his abilities, and then let him start throwing that ball downfield. But it should be a great season, and we'll keep you everybody informed as the season goes on. And I just want to remind people that it is camp season. So if your kid is out there and he's from kindergarten, if he's playing all the way through high school. Now is the time to get them into these summer camps because they're led by some really great people. There's some really great camps out there where they're gonna teach them fundamentals. They're gonna teach them some more advanced techniques. They'll get to work and compete against their peers, and it also gives them visibility, especially when you're getting older. If you're in anywhere from 7th, 8th, 9th grade, you need to be out there in some of these college camps so you can get some visibility from your college coaches and you get on their radar. It's really, really important. Don't wait until your senior year to try to get in these camps and get some visibility. If these college coaches are not following you early, they're not going to follow you at all, okay? You need to get on their radar early. And that's why it's so important for you guys to participate in camps during the summer. And there are some good ones out there. There's some local ones. There's national ones. Just depends on what you want to do. And quite frankly, some of it's kind of expensive when you're add in travel and hotels and everything else you have to do. So, but if you're serious about the sport, if you're serious about making the leap to college after high school, then you have to get that exposure. Anyway, camps are really important. But so what else has been going on? You mentioned something to me earlier today.
Oh, the college football 26 trailer.
The college football 26 trailer. So we played college football 25. We've played it quite a bit. He plays it a lot more than I do, obviously, because I actually have a real job where I have real responsibilities. But Miles, whenever we play college football 25, you usually kick my butt.
Yeah.
But that's because you know all the ins and outs. Your dad just plays like the straight. I play it straight because I don't know any other way to play it. And I will tell you this, just like in the real game, Miles does not like to lose. But anyway, so what do you think? What do you think the differences are going to be between 25 and 26?
I just know you can start your road to glory in high school.
So they went back to doing that.
Yeah.
They'd used to do that.
And you can decommit from the schools.
You can decommit.
Yeah. And they have like the hat ceremony for your commitment.
Wow. I think we have a storm coming in. We hopefully can clear that out of the sound. So, but yeah, and I also saw something where they actually have the real coaches now.
Yeah, they do.
Which is something they didn't have last year. I wonder if they're paying the coaches to do this. But you know what? It is actually a really good recruiting tool if you're sitting there as a coach to have your picture on college football 2026 and the kids that are playing the game are now going to be looking to you as the coach. So it should be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Do you know when it's supposed to come out?
July 10th.
July 10th.
But it's still if you get it like pre-ordered, it's still like the 3-day early thing.
Okay, so you're telling me I have to order it early is what you're telling me.
Same as last year.
Same as last year. That should be fun. What else been going on in football? You been following anything?
Not really.
So did you happen to catch that the SEC and the Big Ten are trying to flex their muscles again?
Yeah.
What did you hear they're doing?
Trying to like create their own semi-pro league and get like
Well, kind of what it looks like is happening. The SEC and the Big Ten are pushing for a 16-team playoff model where the SEC gets 4 auto bids, the Big Ten gets 4 auto bids, the Big 12 gets 2, the ACC gets 2, and then the rest are all just I think wild card or whatever they're going to call it. But it's kind of interesting. And there's another model where they're going straight seeding. You're just ranked 1 through 12 and you're going in. I don't know where they're going with all of this, but all of them favor those certain leagues. I mean, Miles, do you think it's fair to the other conferences that the Big Ten and the SEC seem to try to be driving the train?
No.
And I mean, you could finish literally in 4th place in the Big 12 or Big 10 or the SEC and get into the playoffs. You could have 3-4 losses and get into the playoffs in accordance with what the SEC and the Big 10 have. Do you think that's fair?
No, not at all.
I mean, what model do you think you would prefer?
I would prefer the conference champion from each conference in Division 1 FBS, not FCS, automatically gets in, and then there's 8 conferences, right?
It's 9 right now.
Yeah, and then there's the 9 teams, and then there's 3 wild cards.
See, to me, that's fair. And I would say that's because in football, the games matter. All right, the games have to matter. The season has to matter. Championships have to matter. If they don't matter, then what's the point in even playing? And a lot of what you get now is you got the Big Ten and the SEC trying to run roughshod over the NCAA. Miles, do you have any idea how many teams are in totally in the SEC, or not the SEC, but the NCAA?
A lot.
There's over 1,100 teams, colleges, institutions within the NCAA. Miles, do you have any idea how many teams are in the Big Ten and the Big 12, or Big Ten and the SEC combined?
18 plus 16 is 34.
So 34 teams, 2 conferences, are riding roughshod over 1,100 schools. They are driving the train. And it's kind of crazy. And you sit there and you look at Greg, was it Sankey?
Yeah, I think.
And he's sitting there complaining about, oh, we play these higher strength of schedule. We play the higher ranked teams. But what you fail to acknowledge, okay, this is going to go into my rant, which I have become incredible. I'm the biggest college football fan in the world. I think it's the best sport, but I'm getting tired. I am getting tired of 2 schools or two conferences pushing around all the other conferences and all the other institutions. They are not doing this for the good of the game. They are not trying to grow the game. They're trying to get power and money for themselves. That's all this is about, power and money, all right? That's all they care about. Now, I'm going to tell you something. As the ESPN has driven this stupid train. They have driven this train off a cliff. So here's what they've done. They've invested a lot of money into the Big Ten and the SEC, a lot of money. So it behooves them to push those 2 conferences as the best conferences in college football. All right? They push that tirelessly. Miles, where do you think all the news writers and the people that vote in the AP polls and the coaches polls, where do they get their football news?
ESPN.
So I was in the Army for 27 years. One of my jobs in the Army was information operations. I did that for a short time when I was deployed in Afghanistan. That is driving a narrative, shaping a narrative, using psyops, media, using all these different tools to drive an agenda, which is exactly what ESPN has done. They have driven an agenda. They influence the people that vote. So if they get all their news from ESPN, and they're going to sit there and go, well, gee, Alabama's the best team in the country. Okay. The SEC is the best conference. Okay. That's all they're getting fed constantly. It's like a narrative. It's like if you're a political person, if all you watch is Fox News, you're going to think Donald Trump's the greatest guy in the world. If all you're watching is MSNBC, you'll think Donald Trump is the worst guy in the world. All right? So it's agenda driven. It is 100% agenda driven and power driven. And I think what is horrible is you're sitting there looking at these conferences and you're looking at these commissioners. They are of these 34 teams, and they are basically telling schools from 1,100 athletes from 1,100 other schools, you do not matter. You don't matter. Anything you do, any of your on-field accomplishments are ridiculous. You do not matter, students. You do not matter, athletes. It doesn't matter because we're the only ones that matter. It is the biggest BS I've ever freaking seen. And I think it's time the NCAA grabs their balls and goes out there and says, okay, Big Ten and SEC, go away. We don't want you. Go away. Go form your own little super league. All right? Oh, by the way, and take all your other sports with you. Go. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Get the hell out of the NCAA. Take your money and go over there, because you know what you're going to get? Oh, and by the way, you get to vacate every one of your championships. Any freaking NCAA championship your schools have, gone, vacated, gone. If these two conferences want to play hardball, let them. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. All right? Then let them form their little super league. Because you know what the secret is in college football, which a lot of these people don't seem to grasp? It's regional. All right? I live in Florida. All right? I'm a fan of two different schools. I went to Iowa. I grew up in Iowa. So I'm a University of Iowa fan, which is a Big Ten school, by the way. So I'm not just going after them because I don't root for a Big Ten school, because I do, but they're wrong. So, and I root for University of Central Florida, which I went there for grad school. So I'm tied to both those schools. That's why I root for them. Do you think I give a rat's butt what Alabama does?
No.
Do you think I care what Missouri does?
No.
Do you think I care what Auburn does?
No.
Do you think I care what Michigan does?
No.
Do you think I care what Ohio State does?
No.
So what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up with a regional semi-pro league that is going to draw regional numbers. And guess what, SEC and Big Ten? Go ahead and hang those national championship banners, because they don't mean anything, because you're not playing anyone. And if I was the NCAA, I would know. I'm trying to watch my language. I would, no kidding, say any NCAA school that plays against one of either the Big Ten or the SEC in their little super conference, you get fined, a heavy fine. And that win doesn't count, or that loss doesn't count. So any money you make off that, you should be automatically be fined that same amount. So you're not gaining anything, and you're actually losing money if you play one of those teams. It's time for the NCAA to step up and play hardball. All right, step up and play hardball, because I am tired of watching these two conferences destroy the sport that I love. I am tired of it. So it's gotten to the point of the ridiculous, and it is time for not just the NCAA, but all those other schools, all those other conferences, to grab a hold of their balls and say, okay, no more of this crap. Not one step forward. You want to leave? Leave. Don't let the door hit you in the ass, SEC and Big Ten. Good luck with your regional semi-pro league. You will be the UFL. You know why Miles, you know why the NFL works? Why do you think the NFL works?
Because it's not regional.
Well, it is. You know, you have all the teams are regional. But why do you think it works?
Because they don't pay other schools and stuff like that.
Well, no. But here, think about this. What teams do you root for in the NFL?
The Bucks.
But why?
Because they're the closest team to us.
Okay, some people are like that. That's a regional thing. But like me, I've always rooted for whatever team I know players on. So, for instance, when Chuck Long, who was a quarterback at Iowa, when he was playing, he played for the Detroit Lions. I was a Detroit Lion fan. With R.J. Harvey, he's going to Denver. You think I'm going to root for Denver?
Yeah.
Yep, damn skippy I am. You know, kids that I know personally, I will root for them. And that goes across the entire spectrum. So a lot of fans will watch the NFL because they're watching kids that they've watched play throughout college. And frankly, that's changing now too, because kids will go to 20 different colleges. I mean, it's not uncommon. We're already seeing kids play 4 years of college football at 4 different schools. Oh, that's a topic for another day. But that's just getting ridiculous. So you're going to break that bond with fans, where fans won't give two craps about a certain athlete, but they used to care, which is why they became fans of certain teams. You know, we became fans of the Bills because of Gabe Davis, and because of Latavius Murray playing up there. So we became fans of that team, and he's not there anymore. I mean, I like Josh Allen, but I'm not a diehard Bills fan anymore. So, but that's why the NFL works. because it's not just regional, but fans have connections with players, and they follow those players and they root for those players, especially when players are with the team for a certain amount of time. They really becomes vested, and they become very vested in that. And guess what? It's not going to work in college because college is regional. College is regional. So good luck, Big Ten and SEC, and good luck, ESPN, because you're rolling that dice, and you're going to lose a lot of money because if they break off, no more national championships because they're not playing anybody except they're only playing with themselves. The SEC and the Big Ten will only be playing with themselves, and you know exactly what I mean. And no national championships because they won't play other teams. There's going to be no real recognition. No, it's gonna seriously damage the sport. It's already severely damaged as it is, but honestly, it's time that the NCAA and all the other schools and conferences call the Big Ten and SEC's bluff and say, go ahead, get out, go. Because guess what? If ESPN says, don't worry about it, we'll cover you. That only lasts so long as people pay advertising to watch those games. And guess what? Something tells me if they leave the NCAA and that if those those teams will become much more regionalized and nobody's going to care. Okay? So to me, it's time to fix this. And it's the only way it happens is if these league presidents and commissioners and the university presidents all stand up and say, no more. We're done. You want to play your games, but you can just go play with yourself. So anyway, just a reminder that the Quarterback Room is brought to you by Florida Football Prep. For all your football needs, that's www.floridafootballprep. Give us a like on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube, on Apple iTunes, on Spotify. We're on Instagram, Twitter. We haven't gotten on TikTok yet, so I've kind of not done the TikTok thing. Have you ever watched TikTok?
No.
I'm just not a TikTok guy. I don't know. But give us a follow, give us those likes. And I'm sorry I got a little intense there, but I'm passionate about college football. I'm passionate about football because I would love to see my son play one day in college football. And I don't want greed from these leagues to destroy the sport that I love and that I know my son loves. And anyway, looking forward to College Football 26 to come out. That should be cool. At least there's no freaking crazy commissioners trying to ruin the sport in College Football 20. Not that I know of. If they want to make it realistic, they can do that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But I'm going to ask if you have any final comments, and I'm going to tell you good luck at NFA tomorrow. We're going to be out there, and we're going to be filming, and hopefully get some interviews out there, and I'll put a package together after that. But we appreciate watching you, Miles. Any final comments?
I just want to play College Football 26.
How about you just want to play football?
Yeah.
That too. I'm looking forward to seeing you out there. Very proud of you and proud of what you've been doing. Anyway, so until next time, we'll meet you back here in the Quarterback's Room.